I'm Michael Seven Michael, and today we have in our virtual studio
Dayveonne Bussey.
It's me, Corey.
You're watching GEEKCASTER, everything sci-fi-fantasy. This is, now, you've never seen me on the show drinking any kind of water or lemonade or juice or anything like that. Now, do you know what this is? I know Dayveonne knows what this is.
Yes, that is, if I'm not mistaken,
It's what we call a cup.
No, not just any cup.
Any cup. Aha. That's what you get. This is
Wild Bills.
Wild Bill.
Shout out to Wild Bills. If you go to comic book conventions, they sell these, and I'm going to buy more of these. These are amazing.
Yeah.
They really keep things cool, and they keep things hot.
Yeah.
So it's like an open insulated cup.
Basics.
Correct.
Basics.
So better than a Yeti.
Yeah, amazing. So, so we're going to talk about a bunch of things today. And by a few things, but talk about it a lot. So we're going to talk about Red 11, Super Hot, and The Boys Season 3. And I believe, Dayveonne, you saw a sneak peek of Umbrella Academy Season 3.
No, I saw the whole thing.
You saw the whole thing already?
Yeah.
Talk about binge.
Wow. That's impressive. That's impressive, Dayveonne. That's impressive. All right, so let's start out with Red 11. Corey, tell the people about Red 11.
Red 11 was an interesting movie. It's an independent film. It starts off with a message from the director, Robert Rodriguez.
Mm-hmm.
He originally did another movie called, what was it? L something. It was a movie set in Mexico. He had a budget of $7,000. And in honor of doing that movie, he did another independent piece where he directed, he produced, he filmed, he edited everything himself. His son helped with some editing and was actually in the movie. But it is about one of his experiences of going to a research laboratory, and it's his horror version take of his experience.
Yeah.
So, with this horror experience, because I just finished watching it, it was kind of quirky, not quirky, but more weird in a way where it's like you don't know whether it's the drugs that they was giving them or if it was just them themselves.
And again, so the audience doesn't get confused. You have one of the main characters where he's a filmmaker and he wants to raise money for his film. Also, he owes somebody, this group, like a lot of money, and he has to pay them back. Now, they weren't too clear if he borrowed money to do the film. There was no...
Yeah. Yes, they did. He said it.
Yeah.
He did say that?
So his take on it is because his original film, he went to a couple of research studies in order to fund his first movie.
Okay.
So this second movie is basically an adaptation of what he went through. So he went to research hospitals, and he was a filmmaker. However, how he funded his filmmaking in this movie, he didn't know that it was from a group of bad people, and they wanted their money back.
So this is a part two, in a way.
It's just another take of what happened to him in real life. A movie adaptation version of a real life scenario.
Yeah, I thought it was worth it watching. Just, I mean, obviously he had help. You know, his son was doing cinematography, as well as other aspects, and acting in the film, which was pretty cool. But the original one, he did that literally by himself, the first one.
Yes.
Wow.
So this movie is not for everyone. However, if you are a creator, like you like creating content, if you like your own short films, this is very inspirational. He shows you basically what he does, how he made this movie. The movie itself was not bad.
Right.
The context, the dialogue, the plot, the some callbacks, the what do you want to call it? The
Easter eggs.
Yeah, Easter eggs, the takes on making a movie. He dives into all that in movie format. It's
Right.
a really good allegory for how to make a movie.
And for what I'm hearing, he basically promoted in a lot of film festivals or like I think classes to basically give people inspiration ideas to create their own project.
Yes,
Now, where can we find? Now, this one's on Prime, Red 11. Where can we find the original one?
I will get back to you in a second.
Cool, because that would be pretty cool. But so as you look that up, let's go to this really unexpected. It's so bad, but yet there's something really charming about it, and it's called Super Hot. It starts out where this young lady's delivering pizzas, and she quits her job. And it seems very much like a C movie. Can't even say a B movie. It sounds like a C movie. But as you watch it, I could really to Corey's classic Corey GEEKCASTER. I like the intent. I like where they were going with it. How did you guys feel about this film?
I'm gonna be honest. I remember watching this film. I wasn't crazy about it. Mm-hmm. Yes, it does give you that C film vibe. Mm-hmm. Story wise, it was good. I think if they really give it to the right hands, it could be a film. Mm-hmm. I mean, an A-list film. But it just didn't catch me because it was a lot of... Because it's supposed to have been a horror film, but wound up being campy.
Okay. Corey?
I think it was campy because it was a C movie. It feels like in order to use like some type of allegory, when you have a dish and all the pieces in the dish are good individually, but they're just not good together, that's what this movie was.
Wow.
There were a lot of good parts. You can fall in love with a lot of different characters. They're very nerdy. This movie definitely isn't for everyone. If you like bad movies or real campy B movies, this is up your alley.
Well, campy C movies, we're not going to call it a B.
It was a B minus C plus. It has some good things in it, like Michael said.
The gore,
direction they tried to do was good.
The gory moments were really good, actually.
Yeah. That I will give it up.
They did that. Wow. I was Now, Corey, you really kind of fell for the lead actress in there.
Oh yeah. Yes, I did.
I love the fact that you kind of fell for her and she was not selling sex or anything in it. You just liked the quirky personality. So the character that she portrayed, that was really cool. And I like that too. I like it when people get those reactions from characters where it's not hitting you over the head with like sexuality or I'm cute or this or that, but you still feel something for them. So good job, and that was good stuff.
This was the nerdiest of nerd movies, and they were all buddies, and they were all very relatable if you're a nerd or a geek.
Yeah.
How would you describe yourself?
Right.
And seeing how they operated, there wasn't a leader. They were very cohesive, and obviously she was the main attraction for why they were together. Right. And her story was just interesting.
No, I agree with that. It seemed natural. As much as the film was not natural, and to Dayveonne, I don't say Dayveonne's point, but Dayveonne's perception of like, okay, it's campy and this and that, but it was something about it did seem really kind of like, oh, I could see a bunch of a geek crew or nerd crew being like these people, and then like the Star Wars references and the things in the background and playing video games. It didn't feel forced. A lot of times when they do movies where it's like, here's a little nerd crew, it's overly like stereotypes in a bad way, in a forced way, and the conversation seemed super forced. Like, well, what would they say? What would they say? Let me write that in there. Like, no, so I could see them really being a crew of friends.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was really...
really
Say it
were a
again?
crew of friends. It makes you wonder if they really were a crew of friends.
Yeah. Maybe we should do some research and bring that to the next show, because that would be interesting.
Yeah, like us three. We're Cooper nerdy geek friends.
Why you gotta bring it back to us, bro?
Because, you know, I'm sorry.
As the light looms behind him, wouldn't that be like us? All right, let's go to the next one.
Before we go to the next one.
Oh my goodness, The Boys.
Before we talk about The Boys, wanted to go back. The first movie Robert Rodriguez directed was called El Mariachi in 1992.
Yeah.
You can watch it on Amazon Prime, Pluto TV. You can buy it on YouTube and wherever you find your movies.
Yeah. Facts.
I'm going to just put his name in because I don't know if I could spell what you just said.
El Mariachi.
Okay, sure.
Crap. Tongue twister.
So every time The Boys, well, actually, from the very beginning, we saw A-Train, which is their version of The Flash, running. A couple very much in love. And he runs right through. And all you saw was guts flying everywhere, to the point where the couple, the guy was holding her hands, and all that was left were her hands.
You talking about Huey.
And his girlfriend, what was her name? Rosie? Rachel?
I think it was something with an R. Yeah.
Rosie or Rachel.
And I like the last episode I just saw because there's a reference, he referenced her, and there was no reference to her for a while. Yeah, since he kind of moved on, had another relationship, but he obviously wasn't over it. So, it's great. I'm really liking this. They find a way to keep it relevant and interesting. There's always a couple scenes where I get it. You have to develop certain other characters. There's always a moment where I'm just, all right, now it's time for me to go do the dishes, or now it's time for me. I don't know if you guys feel that way, or you're like riveted through the whole thing, but I like it. Overall, I think this is a great series, and where they're going with it, I'm definitely for the ride. What do you guys think about season 3 so far?
They update standards compared to season 1. Season 1 was okay, yeah. Then season 2 was like, okay, I see where you're going. But when they hit season 3, it was like, wow. Y'all went full on. Y'all went full Monty. I'm going to be honest. Y'all went full Monty.
Now, why do you say that? What elements you think really took it up a notch, in your opinion?
Without spoilers.
Without spoilers.
Okay, so the raunchiness. That's the best way to put it. The raunchiness. They went full Monty.
Okay. That's interesting. I mean, do you feel that that's necessary, or is that like a go-to that everyone is just kind of like, okay, we'll play the raunchy card?
No, I really think it was fitting for the show because of the comic book. It stayed true to the comic book. So it's like, you have to have the gore, the raunchiness, the obscenities, the superhero thinking that they're better than human type of mentality, compared to some of the shows that we have now, except for Peacemaker. I will not talk bad about Peacemaker. Peacemaker was...
I'll talk bad about it.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I'll talk about it.
Go ahead and drink your ice water or whatever you're drinking. Hey, you didn't stay with your Mickey Mouse shirt. But like I said, Peacemaker...
He has nothing to do with this.
I feel that Peacemaker, I like what they were attempting to do, and there were good moments, but they kind of go over the line of campiness and quirkiness in a bad way, where it's like, I'm not really interested to go any further on this journey. While I think that like The Boys, whether there's gore, whether you get caught up in the dialogue, when you think of the psychology of could this really happen, would this really happen, there's enough of those different areas that keeps it interesting, you know? So if you're just for the superhero moments, cool. If you're just for the tussling and the fighting, okay. And I think in this season they also brought up there's more fights this season. I think.
Yeah.
Well.
No. I'd say no. It's more psychological warfare.
That was always there.
I guess let me preface this by saying this, and I'm glad you brought up Peacemaker and John Cena. Peacemaker was atrocious to me. I never got past episode 2 because it felt like it was forced. And I think the difference between him and Dave Bautista is Dave Bautista evolved naturally. And that's why he's such a bigger star, in my opinion, a wrestler turned movie star than John Cena. And the same can be said about The Boys. With season 1, it was like testing the waters because they know most people haven't read the comics and they weren't going to automatically affiliate this show with the comic books. And then season 2, they're okay, people are talking about the comics. Let's, step it up a notch. And naturally evolved to season 3 is what we have now is just the best comic TV show adaptation I think we've had years.
That's fair.
That's fair.
There's definitely a growth towards it. Yeah, they have a lot of elements, and I think that like if you attach yourself to one or two of the elements, you still feel good. You don't feel cheated. It's not like, there's really strong drama and the rest of it. Or there's really strong gore, and they have those moments sprinkled in there. It's just enough. It's not too much. It's not the whole thing is blowing up bloody, because then that would be kind of stupid in a way. So I'm really, really proud of them, of what they've done. And do you guys think that they'll actually kill off one or two of the main characters?
Yes.
You feel that?
Yeah, I feel it coming. And I just want to say, everyone's arc has been interesting. The arc I'm most invested in right now is Yumiko's. I love her. I love her art. I love what they did with the story. I feel like it's either her or Frenchie that will not make the end of season 3.
Interesting.
What?
Wow.
What?
Wow.
Well, I won't say it's Emiko. I won't say it's Frenchie.
Well, you can't really say like if they're gonna bring in the deaths from the comics into the show.
I know. I'm thinking
because Walking Dead tried that, and we know how that ended.
Yeah, but I'm
gonna bring in like the deaths from the comics into the show.
No,
they necessarily don't follow the order, or they pick different characters.
Gotcha.
To get them. So
I really think, and I'm gonna be, and this is a shocking moment, and I hate saying this because
just say it.
I really think it's gonna be Mother's Milk.
Ooh,
it's very interesting.
I really think it's going to be
very interesting.
That is very interesting.
I think it's going to be Mother's Milk. I'm sorry. My putting all the chips on the table is Mother's Milk, because that's going to be a huge shocker, I think, within the Black community to see him die.
I don't know about all that. I don't know, like, people are that invested, but...
Now, if you would have said A-Train, I would have been like, okay.
Nah, A-Train is like...
Did you see the last episode?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, it's interesting. Right now, he's at a certain point where he's changing, and I don't think they would leave it right there. Like,
no, I don't think
it makes sense.
I think he won't finish out season 3. I mean, I already said the two that I think, but if I were to change my answer and say someone who would affect the Black community, as Dayveonne said, I would say A-Train, because the best thing you can do in filmmaking is kill someone in the middle of an arc, and I think that hits a little bit more home.
Right.
So I would be...
And for anyone that didn't watch the show, a little bit of a spoiler, but not much. But we see A-Train evolve to a self-centered, egotistical, just fame-hungry individual. And a lot of that energy comes from being fear not knowing how to deal with fame, rich. Also, he's under a lot of pressure, and I think that it would have been nice if they explore that. Like, he's just not a jerk to be a jerk. He doesn't know how to deal with everything. So, there's a character that's racist and that's over policing and abusing, killing, and hurting the black community. And to see A-Train, like, at first it was fake. It was like, well, this will be good for the ratings if I'm about my people and, black power, yada, yada, Black Lives Matter. And then actually being affected somewhere in the story and change, I think that would be super interesting. Also, he was also very weak when it comes to Homelander and always afraid. So if they were to kill him, I think, Corey, you're right. They would have to build it to a point where I'm not afraid, and even if you take me out, I'm going to stand for fill in the blank. I don't think they can get rid of him without getting to that point. Otherwise, that would be really whack.
Right.
And then Noir.
We all sleeping on him because there's mystery behind that character.
Yeah, I don't think they get rid of. So, long story short, I agree with you, Corey. I think if you got rid of one or two of that relationship, by getting rid of one, that definitely adds more energy and more interest in the other. Together, they're not that interesting.
Right.
Because it's kind of like they keep their script is, let's run away, we want to stop doing this, let's run away, this is not the life I want to have for myself, all I want to do is love you. And you can only say that, but how many episodes? All right, already. So it would be, if they get rid of Frenchie, it would be interesting if now she's on some, let me get rid of all the soups. It'd also be interesting to get her power back. If they get rid of her,
spoiler.
A little bit. If they get rid of her, then I don't know. Well, when did she lose her powers? It was last season, right?
No.
Is this one?
So
it's okay. I already spilled it.
Yeah, it was definitely.
You spoiled it. See,
but there's more to it. They're like, it's okay, people. It's okay. You're still gonna want to watch it. Whatever. It'll be all right.
Oh, so it's okay for getting lashes from me, but it's not okay for the person that runs the show.
Hey, it's good to be the person who runs the show, right? You get more privileges. Thank you, Jeff Bezos.
You know what? That is so messed up.
That's funny.
But I would also add to A-Train's character arc, he is the most interesting because the show is very full of socioeconomic problems. Yeah. And because he is black and he doesn't want to be the superhero that pushes the black narrative. Mm-hmm. I thought that was a very interesting take on his struggles of being black and what that means for his community, with his powers, with his ability to actually lead. Would people want to take that step and be in that position? So I thought that.
I didn't think about it, but that's a great point, social economic issues, because, they really... At least the crop of superheroes from Highlander down were all because the parents wanted money and allowed their kids to be experimented on. Now, they didn't say, like, the first generation of Soups. They didn't say anything about them and what their situation was. So that is interesting. And the push and pull, we've seen it from episode 1, where Highlander wanted to be mothered.
Homelander, not Highlander.
Oh, Homelander. Sorry, Homelander wanted to
I was gonna let it go because
sorry.
It's so funny he's referencing Highlander and Homelander all at the same time.
Yeah, like he Homelander wanted to be loved, wanted to be mothered, right? Like he had this weird kind of sexual relationship with
so we're just going for the spoilers. We're just going for the spoilers now.
No, that was in the first season.
Yeah, first season. Yeah, you're right.
Hello. I'm saying that there's a consistency with his mental state, but also this feeling of acceptance. We see it constantly from the very first season. Where do you guys think that will end up with that character? Because if they kill him, like, you almost can't kill him or he would have to turn into a supervillain, right? Like, I think he would be a supervillain before he becomes a dead superhero. What do you guys think?
I like this whole concept because equally there's no heroes and equally there's no villains. Like everyone's just in the middle. It's the whole show is a big gray area. I feel as though if you do get rid of Homelander, you can always replace him. Because last season there was Stormfront. Stormfront was bigger than Homelander. I feel like we can take other people in the Seven and put them in that chair. It is pretty much the Game of Thrones of superheroes. Whoever sits in the chair is going to rule. So you can put anyone in that chair and watch them do whatever they want.
That's interesting. That is interesting. Yeah, I guess I can't go into what I just thought up to that point without overly spoiling it. Actually, it's not even a big spoiler, but I'll say it this way: in this world, referencing the very first season, we do not know how many soups exist. So you're right, Corey. Anyone could come up and be like, "I'm the next Homelander."
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So that is super interesting. Alrighty, so we have like 2 minutes left. So guys, recap. What we say?
Red 11 is better than Super Hot.
Okay.
Both should be watched. Yeah. And if you aren't watching The Boys season 3, what are you doing with your life?
Exactly.
So how many G's would you give Red 11? From 1 to 5.
3.5, actually.
3.5 G's. Cool. And what do you say, Dayveonne?
3 G's.
Cool. And Super Hot, what would you give it?
2.5.
What would you give it? Blank, blank, blank.
1.5.
Interesting. That's pretty low.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And The Boys, what would you?
On a scale of 1 to 5, it's definitely a 10.
Nice. What are you thinking?
3,000.
All righty. You heard it first. So I'm co-signing on all of it. And if you don't know what that means, then it's okay. Just watch it. So, there's nothing that we talked about we could say like don't watch, which is new, right? Because the last couple of weeks there was so these are all acceptable. Maybe 1 out of the 3 you could cook and clean and do something in the background, but they're all winners this week. So cool. Quickly, what is your social media?
Dayveonne Bussey on all the things except for Twitch and Twitter.
Okay.
I am GT3 on all the things.
And I'm Michael7, Michael on IG. You can go to GeekCaster.com. You can go to GeekCaster on Instagram, as well as you can go to GeekCaster Network on Facebook. Either way, you're watching us. We really appreciate it. You can also check us out on YouTube. If you're watching this on cable, thank you for your support. Keep doing that. And write the cable station. Say, hey, we want more of that. And support them and keep that going. You're watching GeekCaster. Thank you so much. And we will see you next time with a more. How much more? A lot more. How about that?
I don't know.